did present a clerical error to the Adams Township Board, and
Well, yesterday, I doubled up and said, just in case, and I sent it to Susie. And I called the township supervisor, and yeah, I thought we already got that printed on. Like, okay, well, I'm just making sure. They understand, they're gonna, I guess, sign it and send it back.
they said they would have to adjust their budget to make up for that. The only person that was really questioning it was a resident of Lake Bel Air, to which I don't know what her, whatever was.
Way of thinking.
Anyway.
Scipio Township, when I was out at that meeting, French Road between Litchfield and Motorville Road, there's a culvert that goes across the road, and the homeowner there was concerned, there's a hole next to the culvert, it's part of the flat land, they wanna know if there's anything that you guys are gonna do about it, I've got the address.
I believe they were.
Okay, cause what I suggested that the homeowner actually call and report it, but I would follow up at this meeting, so.
I want to
The
say
address?
they're doing or looking at that.
Okay.
But if you got the address.
Yeah, I do, it's 10/560.
Yep.
French Road. Okay, alright. And then, resident on Row Road, which I know we've had comments on Row Road back when I was county commissioner. I thought we had that kind of taken care of, but, the comment was, is we need common sense when scraping that road so the water can get off.
That is.
It's Row Road,
What's his
Pope
name?
Road, well, Mike, Chris Myers,
Yeah.
but he isn't the one that said it, someone
Really?
else. I don't know if it was a
All right.
plant, he didn't,
All right.
his
Row and Pope needs some more.
Yes.
Yep.
So I thought we had fixed that, and I don't know if they're not scraping it properly, yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I would say Chris Myers continues with his comments that we're not doing enough to bring the berms in, we're not doing enough, we're not scraping the roads properly, we're not doing our job. And I left it with him that, Chris, you're asking me the same question, I'm giving you the same answer. I don't like the question and you don't like the answer, I don't know what else I can do. So.
We've actually gotten a lot of calls complaining about us bringing the berm in. 'Cause the guys are trying. I went out and rode with Litchfield the other day. He had nothing but good things to say. Of course, we had just scraped the roads, but there was little clods of grass and stuff where you could see where they're trying to cut in a little bit. I said, that's exactly what we need them to do.
Right.
And he was happy with it. We've had residents call in. I explained to them why they're seeing the grass, and they're like, oh, okay.
Okay.
So they are doing.
Okay.
The guys are
Okay.
doing a good job of cutting that little bit, and where they can get the daylight, they can't do it with trucks, and the grader's got to do that.
The grader's got to do it.
But even there was a couple spots on Litchfield that the township supervisor's like, if I was in that truck, I wouldn't have got that close over there. He got right over to where it was kind of a swampy area. It wouldn't have taken much for that truck to go.
Right.
But, so they're out there trying to cut it, and
Did you get one from Moscow Township that you took half of his yard?
yes, we went back and swept half his yard.
I got that call too.
So some gravel did get rolled up into his yard. It's a pretty good mound there, and the road's kind of low there, and so it's built up over you, but it's all mowed grass, And whoever, well, I don't know if it's a truck with a grader or whatever, rolled some spots of gravel up on there. So we had our broom, which is a big drivable broom. He just went down through there and broomed it right back out into the road. And
What road was that on in Scipio?
it's on
Moscow Township.
No, it's on Moscow, or on Moserville, almost to, it's the old Petrie Farm.
Okay, on Moserville Road, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Alright.
So, and I haven't heard back since, and I know we called and talked to him, and the operator did go do it.
I know him really well, and he said, would somebody rake that out? I said, not my job description.
We drove by it, and it did have a couple chunks of gravel thrown up in there, so I think it actually worked out okay, where that broom does pretty good about. And being as gravel going on the gravel road, it didn't hurt nothing. So.
Perfect.
Did you get anything settled on that Brian thing?
No, not yet, they're supposed to come back.
Well, he called me last night, and I didn't realize he called, I had it on the charger, but I'm gonna call him back today, so.
Well, I'm still working with Corrigan, but we kinda came to a conclusion, unless you guys say otherwise, for this year, because he's already got people that have called and I guess even paid for extra brine. I'm like, you guys can't just be spraying brine on the roads. There are roads, we gotta know what's going on, how much, what you're putting on it, all that. But over the years, they've always done it there.
Always done it.
So he said, for this year, he's gonna work with me, so I know, but he's gonna go ahead and spray and honor him, but tell him this year, this is the last year, from here on out, you need to go through the township to the road commission to get brine done. And we'll do the normal brine stuff for the township. And if they wanna be the ones that's the match that pay for more, I'm all for it. Well, it's gonna be just the same contract, maybe 5 applications or something, but.
Where?
Well, there's a few of them, but this one is, what township's he in?
Pittsburgh
Pittsburgh. So he apparently gets 4 or 5
application.
applications a year on top of what the township gets,
Well,
just in front of his spot. But I said, that's the one thing that we can't have, is just this checkerboard of dusty, not dusty, dusty. So if they're gonna do that, they've gotta spray and pay for the entire mile stretch, so it's at least an increment
That's what
of.
they used to do years ago.
So from this year, he's probably gonna honor all those,
Fun.
but from here, he's telling them as they're going through this year that from now on, next year, you're gonna have to go through the township and the road commission to do that. I told him I didn't wanna cost him, money and customers, cause they charge more for these little spot brines.
Little spot, right.
And so I guess they're in the 36 cents a
Versus the
range.
19.
Yeah.
And yeah, ours is just right at 20.
Yeah.
And so I said, no, if we have to come up with some kind of, on these extra ones that get called in, or the extra ones on top of the townships, if that's maybe kind of meet in the middle somewhere, or 25, 26, 27 cents
Right.
a gallon for those, and they pay for that mile. It still sounds like the individuals that are getting it, even though they gotta pay for a mile, if they pay less per gallon, they're almost paying the same
Same.
as getting their little spot done. So, we're working with them to see what we can work out, but
Did you get some contracts from Moscow Township resident for some brining around some farmland? Those didn't come in?
I don't know.
Okay.
Hmm.
Cause the farmer did talk to me, because they weren't gonna do any brining, and he was
Yes.
talked about doing some brining around his farmland for those residents to be a good neighbor kind of thing.
I guess I would like, and if you talk to them, like them to go through the township still, and I think we should still do the contracts to the township.
Well, no, I told him, he wanted to know how much it would cost him, and I says, well, I think you essentially would do the township match.
Yes. Yes.
And I gave him those rates,
Okay.
and I said, but you should probably talk to the road commission and, get that figured out with them, and he hasn't contacted you.
Not that I know, I haven't heard
I
anything.
haven't heard anything either.
Okay,
But ideally, if he went to the township,
he wants it to funnel it through the township.
yes.
Well, I think he wants it to be anonymous, I don't know that he wants everybody to know who's doing it.
Well, and that's what, Monte Carlo, he wants that, don't raise a lot of,
Yeah,
but you know what, we gotta tell the township, we're gonna come in and pave
right,
one of your roads.
right,
So, I understand that, but at some point, we still gotta deal with the townships and keep them.
right.
And
I will double back with him and find out if he decided to move forward with that or not, I mean, he's
I don't
claiming
think the
that he was
township would have an
busy.
issue.
Well, no, the township wouldn't, I guess what I was wondering if it was on our radar and that it was a part of the plan. And if it's a timing thing, if he thinks he wants it done and he lets us know, quote unquote, too late, it becomes more cumbersome.
Mhm.
So, in Moscow Township, based on, you're saying you're starting in Camden Township
No.
on the brining and going north?
And then east, and then south, then east.
Okay, so
and
you are
north.
gonna do it that way?
Yep.
So Moscow Township's gonna be 4, 8, almost 12.
Yep.
Okay, that's kind of what I know,
That's
so
what
he
you
has more time then.
I
What's that?
thought they weren't getting brine.
They're not.
They're
but
not.
if-
This is
An
an
individual in the township wants to do some mile sections around the farmland that they farm.
Okay, okay,
And I don't know how many
And it'd
of
be easy
them.
if he goes to the township, easy enough to set up.
Right,
yeah.
right, and so I told, cause they asked me about how much that would cost, I gave him the rate, the almost 20 cents a gallon, and I said, I think based on that rate, it was gonna be this amount of money, and that the road commission would still match half of that, you would just have to do it in mile sections. And so I was just figuring out if that has been scheduled in or not, and what
No, I
I'm
haven't
hearing is
heard.
we don't know anything about it, so I will probably follow up with him and see if he's still planning on doing
And
it.
just a rough guesstimate, so you can kind of figure out for your residents. If things work as planned, at each row of 4 townships is gonna take a week. And so it's gonna be 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Sorry, no, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks for every, so a week for every 2 townships. To get that done, hopefully on our plan. So it's gonna be about 6 weeks to get to,
Yeah, if we got it done by the 4th of July, we're doing good.
Well, this is the earliest we've ever started since I've been here,
Yep,
and maybe in history.
it's very seldom we start first of May.
Here's a question. Say a resident wants to buy some gravel and put it in the road in front of their house.
I would say same thing, go to the township, we'll do a contract, and we actually did that for,
Yeah, no, Mark Wiley.
even though he didn't go through the township, he came paid prior, and so it was paid first. I guess I would prefer things to go through the township,
Township.
that way it's the same principle. Now whether, how the township gets the money from the resident for whether it's brine or gravel or whatever, let them deal with the money thing, we deal with the township.
Because I've got people that are calling and complaining that there's no gravel in front of their house and wondering if they could buy some gravel.
If it goes through the township, sure.
Okay, I need a motion to recess the meeting,
So
go
moved.
into closed session.
Support.
As long as we get a,
We need to make sure that the motion reads,
Oh, I'm sorry,
What is
for,
well,
for negotiations.
yeah,
for
labor
discussion.
negotiations.
So do we need a motion to recess first and then a motion to go into closed session?
No, simply a motion to go into closed session for labor negotiations.
Okay.
We're gonna take a 5-minute break.
Yes, I'm thinking the same
Yes,
thing.
we may.
We got a vote. All in favor,
There's
signify.
gotta be a roll call
And a
vote.
roll call.
Oh, shoot, that's right. Okay,
Yes.
Mark Klein, Kathy Schmidt,
Yes.
Gary Lanninger,
Yes.
Todd
Yes.
Beverly.